All right. Good morning. Just want to open up by saying keeping all the people in the communities that were affected by the tornadoes a couple nights ago in our thoughts and covering them in our prayers. Um, had a really good week last week playing Maine, and what we saw on tape from our guys. Played a bunch of guys. I think around 70 guys this late in the season is not always afforded that opportunity. So thankful to be able to do that. Saw a team that improved and got better. Several players, in particular. I know the hot spot is the offensive line. The way we're playing at receiver and quarterback play, and everybody got better. Love the rhythm that we've shown here the last few weeks. Offensively, easily our best game of precision with physicality and the strain in both offensive line and at receiver, tight ends, just all guys again that get better and progress through hard work and going on our 10th game of the year. You would expect and hope that guys improve, and from where we were 6 weeks ago, 7 weeks ago, 8 weeks ago to where we're at now, there's been real improvement, and we've got to continue to get better. And but like where we're at, and the confidence that several of those young guys, I think we played 10 offensive linemen. That might be our eighth different lineup in 9 weeks, and I thought those guys really played at a high level for what we asked them to do. But playing the 5 freshmen, got several of those guys to get their first extensive action of the year, and thought that they did some really good things. So with that, I'll open it up.
Okay, we'll start in the middle. Eric Bailey.
Brent, I want to ask you, the last 2 weeks, it really seems like something's really unlocked offensively with the coaching transition, just the collaboration between the process, play calling, communication. Has anything changed a lot, or has it just been a steady transition to how Joe John is handling things, how he communicates with his players? Anything just stand out?
Yeah, lots of things. Obviously, we've taken care of the ball better, and so that's helped. But in regards to how we do what we do, just Joe Jones got really good, strong leadership skills. Kevin Johns does as well, and I see a great collaboration, even more so, more of what you would expect it to look like, and that's carried over to the field, from the staff room to the field. And again, the way we practice, communicate organizationally, details, all the constant coaching that guys are getting, but just a more cohesion is what it looks like, and a better rhythm. And then again, the young guys, Coach Bedenbaugh's done a really good job with the young guys up front. Coach Jones done a good job with the receivers, continue to correct, challenge, develop, coach, teach, believe in, giving guys the opportunity. And I really feel like all of our leaders on our team have tried to encourage and help the young players in particular that need the seeds of encouragement and confidence. They got to do the work. They got to fight their own fight. You can't fight the fight for them, but locking arms with them, letting them know you're in the A gap with them is a real thing too. And our players have done that. The staff has done that. And I really feel like there's a piece on game day that you can't undervalue when it comes to play calling and the sequencing, setting things up, and then scheme-wise, everybody having a clear vision on what's the focal point, what's the weakness, what are we trying to accomplish, being more intentional and purposeful. And that's a real thing. Everybody brings Sam Mike, but not everybody brings it to, with the same precision and the same timing, and regardless of the players and their talent and ability. And so all of those things, I think we've done a little better job. And then Jackson has played incredibly efficiently. The numbers, I think I got the numbers here, since he's come back in the South Carolina game. Jackson's completing 63%, of his throws, 631 yards, 5 touchdowns, no interceptions. So he's also a byproduct of all those things, that the offensive change has produced.
Thanks, Brent.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan Aber.
Yeah, Brent, at 5 wins now, obviously 6 gets you bowl eligibility. I want to ask you about that topic and the importance of continuing it from a player development standpoint, from just a momentum standpoint, and also the streak that this program has.
Yeah, again, I haven't spent any time on the byproduct of focusing on trying to go 1-0 this week and finishing much better than what we started the season. That's where the focus has been. It's been in the work. It's been in the schemes. It's been in the transition in staff. It's been in where is Oklahoma beating Oklahoma, and what can we do to lean on the strengths of this football team and protect the weaknesses of this football team, all the while improving the football team. And there'll be a byproduct of that. And it's always important that we win and we put everything that we got into what winning requires. And so I don't spend any time on the disappointment piece. I don't spend any time on anything other than what's in front of us right now, because I can't control any of the other things. And but it's important that we win the next one, and playing in a bowl game, obviously that gives you another month with your players and developing in both on and off the field and getting an opportunity to compete. Mm-hmm.
Barry.
Yeah, Brent, along those lines, we talk about how important a game might be, whether it's bowl, championship, whatever it might be, coach's future, all that stuff. How important is it a game like this, get a road win against the Missouri team, like for your players, and sort of reinforce the idea that they're on the right track?
Yeah.
Keeping people sort of optimistic and settled and those kinds of things.
Yeah, I think it's important. That's a real thing that can, create some momentum here down the last stretch of the season, continue to create buy-in and reinforce. And again, the things that we've asked them to do. This is a team that's worked incredibly hard. We haven't always coached great or played great this season. We've had to overcome a lot, been through a lot, having gone through the fire. I do believe it's going to pay great dividends. And there are certain pieces of our team that have performed very well all year. But this is an opportunity to go to a place at Missouri. They were undefeated this year, so it's a great challenge. They're 5-0 there at home this year. A team that coming off an 11-win season, and they're 6-2 this year. And they've been playing really good football. However, they've won 22 of their last 27 games, something like that. So this is a really good football team that finished 6-2 in the conference last year. So it'd be a great opportunity, for us. But there's nothing going to be easy about it. And putting together a game plan to give us a chance to be successful. But you want that for your players. You want that for your program. You want that for your staff. The success and the victory that comes from all the hard work that you put into a season and into a game week.
George.
Yeah, Brent, since Kendall Dolby went out, it's been kind of a rotating door at Cheetah. You guys have been playing a lot of different guys, Sammy, Hassan, Woody, maybe some younger guys. What have you thought about that position in particular since Kendall's gone down? How tough has it been? I know when he got hurt, you said that he was going to be a really tough guy to replace. How tough has it been for you
Well,
guys?
again, going into the game, going into the season, I talked about Kendall Dolby as being one of our best defensive players because of his unique skill set, his ability to play big, his ability to, fit the run game, to pressure, to cover. And I think that the group of players that you mentioned have done a nice job. And we're still trying to figure out that group of guys and continue to develop them. There's only so many reps to go around. when you look at a course of a week. And so prior to him getting hurt, everybody wasn't getting reps. Desan wasn't even back yet. Sammy actually last summer and in the spring, we worked him a lot of inside linebacker and less outside linebacker. Now Woody's been a move around guy, corner, safety, and the dime and the nickel. And so I think that is still a position rather that has a chance to continue to improve, to be a little more detailed. And but those guys have done a nice job. The body of work is good, and we're working really hard and diligently to get it better. But they all kind of bring a little bit something different to the table.
Can you speak to just how difficult that position is to learn? Because it feels like you ask them to do a lot of.
Yeah, I think the skill set is what's the challenge. I don't the further away from the ball you get, the easier it is. You get in there and play one of those inside linebacker spots, everything is a lot more challenging. And the blocking schemes are different. They change on any particular play. Playing behind the ball is a little more challenging from a mental aspect. Mentally, outside there at that position is a lot easier, in my opinion. And skill set is what you got to have a unique ability to play in that position. And but from what you ask them to do, from a job description standpoint, a little simpler. Just keep you outside arm free. You'll be fine.
Thanks, man.
Yep.
Ryan Chapman.
Brent, Luther Burden, obviously one of the premier receivers in the country. You talked last night about how Missouri moves kind of all over the place. What does that do for like the younger members of your secondary? What extra challenges does that have as opposed to maybe a more traditional, just kind of straight up outside threat type guy?
Yeah, I think it's important that we guys do their job. Do you have to have awareness where he is? Yeah, he's got the most touches on the team when it comes to the receiving room. But they also got Theo Weiss, and they got really good tight ends, and they got really good backs. But he's one of the best players in all of college football. They find a lot of different creative ways to get him the ball in space, the touch game, and then he can really challenge you vertically. He's a home run hitter. He's the ultimate competitor. And you can see his leadership, as well. A guy that's highly invested, and that's been a really big part of their transformation in the last couple of years for them as a program. Yep.
Back to the middle, James.
Brent, you brought up your young offensive lineman. I think on one drive in your second half, you had all freshmen on the field. That had to be pretty cool for you. But as you think about your offensive line, I know injuries have been a big part of this. You got to feel like your future is really pretty good there, don't you? Or do you?
Yeah, this will bode well, no doubt about it. And you have to take the bad with the good as you're trying to mature a young group of players at one of the more challenging positions on a team. But love the fight and the work and the belief and their consistency, just continue to go to work every single day. But that's certainly going to pay big dividends, moving forward and really across the board. We played 19 true freshmen in the game. I think we played another 6 redshirt freshmen, so 25 freshmen in the game this late in the year that played. A lot of those guys played, more than just 5 or 6, 7 snaps. And then I believe we played another 7 true sophomores. So when you're looking at guys in their first 2 years, we played 32 players, in our 10th, our 9th game of the year. So that'll all bode well, and several of those guys would be playing no matter what the team dynamics look like. But it has afforded some guys an opportunity to get out there on the field a little sooner and give us a chance to, have a really good future as well, foundationally.
That's good, Bob.
Yeah, Brent, sticking with the freshmen, a lot of them at this point, if they're playing the 4 games or if they're not. But guys like Eddie, Xavier Robinson, they're kind of like teetering, which way they're going to go. And after watching them Saturday, does that give you a better idea of what you might want to do with them during the final 3 games?
Yeah, we're going to play those guys in 4 games. So 4 total, and not, burden their redshirt year. So we're in a good position to do that.
Jesse.
Brent, I wanted to ask you about Jacoby Johnson. Obviously, he got some extended reps against Maine. Just what have you seen from him as this season's gone along, particularly at that corner spot? And then for him, how are you guys maybe approaching that balance for him in terms of defense, offense?
Yeah, we're gonna again. Obviously, he's got the majority of his snaps since he's been here on defense, and so that'll continue to be the case. But try to continue to get him involved as an additional receiver, a weapon, and hopefully that'll happen sooner rather than later. And when it comes to creating some explosive opportunities for him, getting the ball to touch his hands, and but he's really had great focus, more so even in the past with a enhanced role, the demands that takes, and then the details and the investment on his part, requires that, and he's completely bought in on doing that.
Okay, Tom.
Brent, you mentioned Jackson's improved efficiency since he's returned, and he's talked about how the few weeks not starting kind of allowed him to play carefully now. But that time that he was benched, did you see something tangible change in his approach or anything? That's just kind of unpopular.
No, I talked about it each week. And it wasn't coach speak; it was what I saw, and he had some of his best practices that he had. I said it at the time, and looking back, it's continued to be that way. His focus, I don't think he lacked focus prior, but his ability to stay focused and to stay positive in his own mind and just go to work. And that's what he chose to do. That helped him continue to improve and get better. Again, this is a young player that, again, has only started a handful of games in college, and so the development piece requires that you continue to stay consistent in your process, in how you watch film, how you go to practice, how you take criticism, how you handle adversity in practice. Because it's real. We try to provide a game-like atmosphere for parts of practice every single day, competitive, quantifying opportunities where there's a winner and a loser, and everything you do matters. And so he chose to, instead of feel bad for himself and sorry for himself, instead of point the fingers and be paralyzed in the moment, he chose to grow and improve and get better and take ownership of all of his work. And so when he was asked to come back in the game, he was ready to do so. But he continued as though he was the starting quarterback when it came to his process, how he watched film, his mindset of practice, things of that nature.
Okay, Mason.
Yeah, Brent, David Stone gets in on Saturday. He gets his first sack and plays a bunch of snaps. Just how encouraging is that to see? And you think he can even maybe help you a little bit more here in home stretch?
And again, a hard thing to do for a freshman, a true freshman, this late in the year, to continue to come in early and come after practice, know his new installation, be hard on himself. Again, same thing with Jackson, but taking ownership of where he needs to improve and work diligently, fundamentally in that part of practice, coming down and working a little bit of scout team work, and then coming back over to the varsity, like mixing that up every single day, and having a positive spirit has allowed him to be, he got our 12th man award for the first time this year, and for his play in the game. And there's a lot of good candidates for that. And but David won it because of his diligence and his consistency, his mindset, his humility, and a respect for all the work that it takes to continue to improve, but to have a great self-awareness about where he needs to work the hardest, and it allowed him to have an opportunity to get in the game and perform at a high level. And so I think that'll, a little bit of success and an opportunity to get in the game a little more so will probably be a little bit kind of the wind that sometimes we all need in ourselves to keep that thing going in the right direction to finish the year out. But proud of David and his performance on Saturday and the work that he's put in, and improvement that he's made throughout the course of the year.
second row middle, John Hoover.
And Brent, it might be hard to quantify this. I mean, you're pretty good at football, so I'll test you here. The Missouri, can you kind of let the fans know, let the fan base know what Missouri looks like differently? What's different about them as an SEC school after a decade in the SEC than the Missouri that you used to compete against in the Big 12? How are they different? Bigger linemen, more 5-stars?
Yeah, that's a good question. You know, when I finished up here the last few years, you know, Missouri was number one in the country. And Chase Daniel was a big part of that. They were building the program. Gary Pinkel, Hall of Fame coach. They did very well. And so I think they did a really good job of recruiting foundationally. I know they went through a few years that was rough, but they went to the SEC championship. I don't know what year, but I was at Clemson at the time. I think they might have played Auburn, Gus Malzahn in the SEC championship. I went to the game. It was in Atlanta. Coach Hall was on the Auburn staff. So that's what I remember. But I would imagine, and I don't know everything, the ups and the downs, but all I would say is in the SEC, you're forced to look at things through a different lens, and the challenges of what you see week in and week out, the depth of it, and how you recruit and how you develop, how you scheme, all of those things are affected to some degree. It forces you to grow in different ways. And although it might be painful at times, I don't want to speak for everybody. It can be a real healthy change and an opportunity to grow differently. And I can't say I don't know. I do know that last year was maybe their first year above 500 with Coach Drinkwitz. They've done a great job building the program. I don't know if this is year 5 maybe for him. So he's been there, and again, he's done a good job. And again, last year they were lights out. They were fantastic. Again, New Year's Day game, played the Cotton Bowl, beat Ohio State 13-3. We're 6-2 in the SEC. Incredibly competitive, even in their losses. I think I had something here that talked about something in that regard. That was all of us.
4 losses.
I think they're 4 losses. We're all 6, 3, and 4 points. They've been in 3 tight games this year. They won all 3 this year, but they're 4 losses in their last 2 years. Have all been really, really tight games. So they've done a really good job building the program the right way. I think they're getting ready to spend a couple $100 million on some facility upgrades and things of that nature to be competitive. You know, because players want to win, they want to be developed. And, what they call home every day matters. And so there's a real commitment in the SEC from a fan base standpoint, a facility standpoint, certainly a roster, that goes without saying. And it forces you to get better in every area. And if you don't, you'll get left behind.
The series with them is kind of one-sided. Oklahoma's series with them, the record historically. But is it getting a little spicy with Missouri? They've got a couple of your former players. You've got one of theirs. With the transfer portal nowadays, recruiting has been fun to follow when they get a guy that everybody thought was going to Oklahoma. That kind of thing.
Yeah, they're a program that's going to recruit well in their own backyard. It's not spicy for me. Recruiting is incredibly competitive. Winning is incredibly hard. And we're programs that certainly there's a familiarity, but I don't think Eli was on the staff and part of any of the past Oklahoma, Missouri meetings, and what happens in the past doesn't have to necessarily have anything to do with what happens in the future, good or bad. And that doesn't mean it has to change either. But I believe in what's in front of you right now. And but spicy maybe for the media or the fans, but staff-wise, it hasn't. And in regards to Theo, our offensive staff at the time didn't feel like he was, and Theo probably felt the same. He wasn't a major part of what we were doing, and he's looking for an opportunity. And he was nothing but great. He was a really good leader, did everything that we asked of him, and what a great example of what opportunity and development looks like. And he's kept his head down and just worked. Had a fantastic year last year. He's having a great year this year. And, I think Caden went in there and was a starter. He's a starter for us. We're not surprised if he has success. Caden's a fantastic player, freshman All-American. And that's the world that we live in now. Players are free to come and go as they please, and looking for what's best for them. Well, there ain't no time for bitterness and things like that. You got to move on and adjust and pivot and get better. Yeah.
More questions in the second row?
Brett, you remember about some of those battles with Mizzou in the Big 12, obviously the 07 and 08 Big 12 title games. I think the last time you were there was the 2010 upset. Just what do you remember about those battles back then?
Just really competitive. Wasn't nothing easy about any of them. Fondly, I look at the Big 12 championship. We played them in a few Big 12 championships. I can't say the exact years, but I know 7 was one, and we played them in maybe 8. Is that right?
Yeah.
7 and 8 for Big 12 championships. One in Kansas City, one in Houston. Was that San Antonio? San Antonio, where they were number 1 in the country, going to the national championship. Our general manager, Curtis Lofton, was a linebacker on that team. And anyway, just a lot of competitive games. We played them twice in 7 right out here, and we won that game. There were several turnovers. Jeremy Macklin was one of the players. Chase, what was his last name? Chase. Daniel. Is he still playing, right, in the NFL? I believe he's a backup in. Huh? Okay, just retired. What a great player he was, and just amazing. Just NFL career, but a lot of really good games, and it was always a challenge to go over. I remember when Brad Smith maybe was a true freshman, and we go over there and escaped. We escaped. We won that game. Matt McCoy, he throws with I think he had his receiver gloves on, and I think Chris Chester or somebody. Was it Chris Chester caught one with his elbows, fake, in the end zone, and I think we might have lost the game over there in 10. And so always competitive. Again, they've always. I don't remember Missouri being a team that wasn't really good and competitive as far as competing. I played against them in Columbia and competed against them as a coach while I was at Kansas State as well, and always a really good, tough chore. I remember Corby Smith, great quarterback they had. Corby Jones. And his dad was a coach. Corby Jones, great player. Some of the option and so a lot of good fond memories. Again, 2 good programs going at it, and it'll be another great challenge for us this week.
Back, Chris.
Yeah, Brent, what have you seen from Brady Cook, and how different is the challenge if he's back and healthy for Missouri this week?
I'm a big fan of his leadership and his toughness. The players, their program, they feed off of him. He's got great juice and just he's fearless. I don't know his entire background, but he's a winner. I think he brings out the best in the players around him. But he plays with emotion, on his sleeve, and you can see the guts and the toughness. Obviously, the Auburn game, they're down by 14 points. He gets banged up, goes out. The game's in balance. He goes to the hospital across the street and comes back in the game, as I said last night, with the Superman cape on, and takes him 13, 4th and 5, a long drive. They go down and they score to come from behind and win that game. But incredible competitor. I know he's somebody that the coaching staff, leans heavily on. He can do it all. He's a great runner. They were the best team in college football last year in the red zone, scoring touchdowns, and a lot of it was because of him. And they had a 2-headed monster last year that I believe the SEC's leading rusher on their team and in their schemes and what they do. They've got 2 fantastic transfer running backs that have done a really nice job this year, a little bit banged up at running back and they're at quarterback, but he'll find a way to show up. I know he's just got a couple of games left, and count that guy out. He's a great player.
Okay, time for two more questions if there are any. James and then George.
You know, I thought Missouri really, I know their offense is celebrated, but their defense got better. What do you see in their defense when you watch them?
Well, they're really good this year, statistically speaking. They don't give up much. And a year ago, they were incredibly disruptive. Do a lot of the same types of schemes. Their coordinator left and went to LSU in the out of season, but the rest of their staff stayed. And they really picked up where they left off of last year. They're stingy in everything that they do. One of the best in college football on third down. I think they're fourth in the country in that regard. They're giving up only under 20 points a game. So they're playing with great confidence, incredibly consistent. I know a couple of their guys, their safety, Joseph Charleston, was a really good player for us at Clemson. And he transferred there maybe 2 years ago and has done a really great job. And then Toriano Pride, I've been in his living room and at his high school, know his family well. Fantastic player. He's the first corner off the bench and all their stuff that they do there. They're playing really well at corner. And but they've got really good players. They've done a really nice job at developing their players. They got a system that those guys believe in, and they don't give up much. So they've done a great job.
Okay, last one, George.
Yeah, Brent, I know we have to wait for the availability report, but I'm wondering about Jaleel and just how his rehab process has gone. What's it say about him that he's worked so hard to come back? You know, a lot of guys break their foot in the season opener, maybe they would just wait for next year, or he could go to the draft if he wanted to. What's it say about him working to come back this year?
Yeah, I think he's a great competitor. He cares about this program. He cares about his teammates. He feels like his mission, his journey, it's not over here at Oklahoma, and he wants to have a legacy here. I think that's important for Jaleel. He's had a lot of growth, development, and transformation. He'll be the first to tell you that since he's been here. And but he loves to compete. As you watch him play, and if you never talked to him, but you watched how he plays, you would say a lot of those things. A guy that cares a lot, plays with great toughness and an edge. He's wide open. He can do a lot as a receiver, both explosively and challenge you vertically in the touch game. We've missed that piece, since he and Dion have been out. But I know he's working hard. He's got high hopes to contribute quickly. And, they're out there with us last night in some capacity. And so, but the availability report, I think it starts tomorrow. And then we'll kind of go from there.
Thanks, Brent.
You got it.
Thanks, Brent.
All right. Y'all have a good one.